Hey guys, this is Ed, Paul, and Anna of Current Brand Media, and we are here to tell you a little bit more about our sponsor.
Sportsball is a great subscription service geared towards minor league baseball fans. Each box features a different minor league team.
You get a box every 3 months with minor league baseball gear, including different styles of hats like Ed's favorite, the dad hat. The cost is less than $12 a month.
Proceeds from each box goes to More Than Baseball, the only nonprofit dedicated to the well-being of minor league baseball players.
We all know that Parents' Days are coming up this summer, so if you've got a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa who are particularly difficult to buy for, but you know they're baseball fans, this is the answer, guys.
Meet your new favorite team at sportsballbox.com.
Is there anybody there?
The 12-foot circles.
Yeah.
Goes in. That is the house. And they're colored basically for TV because you think back to curling got popular, world championships started and was started to be televised and became popular early 60s.
What's up, Dad Hat Crew? Ed here. And on this episode, I give you guys two people. That's right. Sue and Howard of Triangle Curling. They are a curling club here in North Carolina. Listen, we go over the rules and regulations, the do's and don'ts, and just like golf, how they can go ahead and give themselves a penalty. Listen, guys, this is a great episode. As you guys already know, I'm a fan of the sport, so I wanted to know more about them, and they were kind enough to really go and explain from the very basics all the way to Olympic curling. So, without further ado, guys, I'll give you the episode. All right. Well, I want to welcome you guys to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles. You guys know me already. You guys know my name is Ed, and with me, guys, I have two curlers. That's right. Hopefully I said this right. I have Howard and Sue. Guys, introduce yourself because I'm very excited about this. You guys don't even know. I'm super excited to know more about curling. So introduce yourselves.
My name's Sue Mitchell, and I am a member of Triangle Curling Club. I am on our diversity committee, and I am on our marketing committee as well. I have been curling. I started to curl in the Ford administration. As I like to say, that's a very small window. I also probably weighed less than a curling stone when I started to curl. And a curling stone can weigh between 42 and 44 pounds.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's not like bowling where you get to pick how much your stone weighs. They're sort of set, and it's through use and age of a curling rock that it could start at 44 pounds and end at 42.
I love this. I'm already learning a bunch of stuff. See, this is great. Howard, introduce yourself, my friend.
Sure. I'm Howard Sider. I'm also a member of Triangle Curling Club. I'm on our marketing committee and spend a lot of my time working on our merchandise. As opposed to Sue, I'm a newer entrant to the sport of curling. I started back in 2018, converted hockey player. It's just been something that I've really kind of gotten into over the last couple of years and just love the sport and love the community.
That's awesome. Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and I'm telling you right now, curling is not a sport there. So I actually picked it up when I moved to Cleveland, and I'm like, man, this is the most fun sport there is. It is in the Olympics, and that's how I got hooked on it. I seriously got hooked on it, and I'm like, listen, if I'm a regular guy, I can make it to the Olympics playing curling. So let's do this. I want to learn. And of course I moved to here in the Raleigh-Durham area, and then I saw you guys, and I'm like, my wife goes, you need to get out of the house, so you need to find something to do. Why don't you try curling? You've always wanted to do it. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
That's the way it happens. I was the same way. I started watching it in the Olympics. I tried it when I visited some friends in Toronto in 2010, and then I basically didn't do it for 8 years, and I moved down to the Raleigh-Durham area right in the middle of the 2018 Olympics, and signed up for one of our Learn to Curls, where we give people a chance to try curling for 2 hours, and got hooked. And here we are all these years later.
You know, and this is, I want to start with that because that's something that you guys do that's really cool. There's, you know, the learn to curl part. Someone like me has hope is what I'm getting out of this, right? I have hope that I can learn how to curl. Not so good, but you know, I'll be able to learn the basics and everything with your program, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the curling is a really accessible sport. You know, you can play basically any age. We have junior curlers that start, you know, very young. As Sue was saying, she started before she even weighed 42, 44 pounds.
Exactly.
And we have people that curl, you know, well into their retirement. You know, there's adaptive versions of it for people that can't crouch down into the hack and do the curling slide. There's not a whole lot of equipment that's needed to get started on curling. We have at the club all of the equipment that you need to get started during a learn to curl. So it's really just a really easy sport to get introduced to. And in, you know, a 2-hour lesson, we can give you the basics. So you can go out there and throw a couple stones and get involved in a game.
That's awesome. All right, so let's get started with the basics, right? So let's teach me curling, right? Because you know, I sit there just like a lot of, you know, Americans out there just sitting there and they're like, what, how, what way, you know, that's literally what I said. No joke. I'm like, how do we learn this? Right. Because there's rules to this, right? There's dimensions. There's a way that you slide the stone is it the broom that you use? That's what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, right. So there's technique to all of that. So teach me the basics, my friend.
So
Sue, take it away.
yeah, one of the things I like to say when I'm doing a learn to curl or a rental or a pickup and pizza is you remember that golf and curling came up from Scotland around the same time. So
I actually learned that.
The rules and the camaraderie and the etiquette are very similar between the two sports.
Okay.
Like you call your own penalties in golf, you call your own penalties in curling.
Interesting.
You read the ice very similar to you would read a green in golf. That the ice looks flat, but it has curves. Your stone will curl towards the center.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could slice it off and it goes off the edge of the ice.
And that changes throughout a game too. So you think about these 42 to 44 pound stones on ice. The ice is textured. It's not like hockey rink ice. It has a little bit called pebble that allows the stone to slide without kind of suctioning to the ice because the bottom of the stone has a curve to it.
Yep.
But as you keep throwing those stones down certain lines, as you use the broom to sweep in front of the stone, you're changing the ice. You're changing how much frost is on the surface of the ice. You're breaking down that texturing. And so it changes how far the stone goes, how much it curls. And so the teams are constantly paying attention to that and reading it like they would a putting green. Sue's makes a great point, man. That's the easiest way to explain it to people is some of those similarities to golf.
I actually, I was doing a little bit of research, right? Like 1511, was the first evidence of curling up in Scotland that was found. So I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is cool. So we have the origins of it and all that. Okay, so someone like me never picked up a stone, never picked up a broom or anything like that. What is the very first thing that I need to know or do when I'm at the ice rink in order for me to learn? So
back to golf. The one thing, golf lessons can be very frustrating, and you're surprised the first time you go out. I have to hit that. This is easy. I can hit that little white ball, and you can't.
Oh, I played golf. I suck at it.
Yeah. Well, with curling on a team, you're going to be placed with people who've curled before.
Okay.
You're not going to get frustrated because you're throwing two rocks, and it's not like you have to throw that rock and then catch up to it and throw it again and keep going after that hole till you finish the hole. So as Howard was saying, it's very approachable. Mm-hmm. So some of the first things is balance. Can you slide? Can you get into a lunge position and then slide down the ice? Well, if you can't, we have delivery sticks and we have other ways that you're able to make adapt your delivery for the game. I'm a little bit old on my golfers here, but you could have a Rory McIlroy swing, or you could have a Jim Furyk swing. But if you have your Rory swing, every time you have the same swing. Well, if you have a little glitch in your back swing, well, you do it every time, just like in golf. And so
Okay.
your basics of your delivery stay the same. So it's a very easy, like you're not having to learn 10 different shots when you first begin. So just
Mhm.
slide it down to lunge out of the hack with a little bit of balance,
Okay.
and your rock's in play. It's got to go about 125 feet. Your sweepers are going to carry that rock 3 to 6 feet for you. The sweeping smooths down that pebbled surface that Howard was talking about to make the rock go further and continue the direction it was going. So sort of like warming up your hands if you're out tailgating. Somebody drinking
Yeah.
a beer, your hands get cold, you rub them together and you feel that friction. That's what we're doing to the ice.
Mhm.
So that,
Gotcha.
yeah, and it warms it up, and it really is effective.
Yeah.
You see the Olympians and they are ripped. They're in the gym all the time because sweeping is a huge part of the game.
When
It's
when a
insane.
when a point can be determined by, you know, hundredths of a centimeter, being able to sweep and carry a stone 3 to 6 feet can have a very big effect on a score. But you know, the structure of the game is also very simple. So you play in a normal game, you play 8 ends. So an end is throwing all of the stones down from one side to the other. Each team in kind of a standard curling game has 4 people on each team, and you've got 8 stones per team. So on each end, each of your 4 curling members are going to throw 2 of those 8 stones. So everybody gets to throw 2 stones. You keep a order as you go through. So somebody's always throwing the first 2, somebody's always throwing the next 2. You always have 2 people on the team who aren't throwing the stones are sweeping for you. And then you have somebody at the other end, usually the skip, who is holding the broom as a target to show you where they want you to aim when you're throwing.
Okay.
Not where you want the stone to end up, because the stone's going to curl, but where they want you to aim to start your throw.
And then that way, with the sweepers, we'll go ahead and direct at that point.
Yeah, so the sweepers will sweep. The skip, the person down at the other end, will keep an eye on how much the stone is curling, how fast it's going, tell the sweepers what to do, kind of communicate back and forth with them to try to make sure that the stone gets to where you want it to get to.
Mhm.
And then once you've thrown all the stones for both teams, whoever is closest to the center of the house, that is 1 point. And for every additional stone from that team that's closest to the center until you get to the first stone of the opposing team,
Mhm.
that's a point. So if you have the 2 stones closest to the center, and then there is a stone of the other teams just farther out from that, you get 2 points.
Gotcha.
And then you take all the stones back once you've agreed on your score. Whichever team scored, they throw first in the next end, and you go back down the other way. And so basically you go back and forth 8 times. And you add up your total points, and that's how you determine your winner at the end of the game.
So it's like I'm thinking of ends as in baseball, like innings.
Yeah.
Yo, I was going to say, careful what you say.
So, okay. So there's always 2 people that will go ahead and push the stone, no matter what. There's just 2 people, correct?
Well, so there's 1 person throwing the stone, and there's 2 people sweeping the stone for them.
Gotcha.
One on either side.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I gotcha. Okay. And then the scoring is, and that one I got because it's like, you know, the one who's closest to the house, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the house is that set of rings.
Yep. That's the one closest. That's the team that would win. And then after that, any other stones that are closest that are not, that are
Closer than the other team's closest stone.
Exactly.
Sure.
Gotcha. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused because the rings are colored. So they
Mhm.
think that there should be different points for different spots in the curling rings, or what we call a house. So the 12-foot circles.
Yeah.
Goes in. That is the house. And they're colored basically for TV, because you think back to curling got popular, world championships started and was started to be televised and became popular early 60s.
Mhm.
When you think about what TVs looked like back in the 60s, they were black and white and fuzzy.
Yeah.
they had to start adding some lines and some colorization to the rings so it would even get picked up on the TV. So that the color of the rings are really just for TV.
I was just going to say, so the color of the rings has no bearing whatsoever on the point system for curling. It is just like you said, it is for fans like myself who is we're watching the sport to know, okay, that's one ring, two ring. Got it.
And then once they started to do it, it helps the curlers because you can see better where it's positioned because you're 120 some, feet away, depending on where you deliver the rock from, how far
Yeah.
away you are to see your target. So it's helped.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like it was meant for TV, but it ended up being something that that it became an advantage for a lot of curlers. So that way it can be directed, that way. Like you said, it's like, there's someone who's going to be holding the broom right there. So it's like, okay, you right here, this is where you're going. So it's being used as an advantage now in the sport.
Sure. And then there's also two other, I guess, basics of the curling sheet that we probably want to cover before we go too much further. But
yeah,
in addition to the house, on each end, you have a hack, which are basically kind of, you can think of them as like rubber starting blocks in the ice.
Yeah.
That's what the curler can use to push off to start their slide.
A hack.
A hack. Yep.
Okay.
So there'll be two of them. So one for lefties, one for righties, depending on which side you're standing on and pushing off. And then on each end of the ice, there is a hog line, which is about 33 feet from the hack. And you could think of it as kind of like the fault line in bowling, right? So you have to release the stone from your hand before you cross the hog line on your side, and it has to make it over the hog line on the other side to be in play.
Let's go over that one again, because that one is, I feel like that's an important one right there. Yeah. So tell me that one more time.
So when you slide out so you're going to start in the hack.
Yep.
You're going to slide out. You've got about 33 feet until you get to the hog line. Between when you slide out and when you get there, you need to release the stone from your hand
before you get to that line.
Right. Otherwise, it'd be like bowling if you get like a footfall from standing on the line before you release the ball. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, it has to go because there's a hog. The sheets are symmetrical, so it has to make it past the hog line on the other side to be in play. So you can't just throw it 10 feet and leave it in the middle of the ice. It has to make it down to the other side past that hog line to make it into play.
Gotcha. So if someone, let's say that one stone doesn't make it, then at that point you are able to remove that stone out of play.
Correct.
Gotcha. Because I would think that somebody would try to use that as a strategic stone, in the so to prevent someone else from scoring. But once it makes it that line, then it's in play.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Cool. See, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go curling. Let's do this. So let's talk about the tools that you guys use, right? Because I'm sure there's different things, for shoes and the broom that you guys use is different than your stereotypical broom.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the equipment's really basic. So you have you can start. First of all, you don't need any equipment to start. We have sliders and what we call grippers, which are basically kind of rubber things that you pull over your shoes to give you some extra grip on the ice and also to keep the ice clean. We don't want street shoes on the ice because anything that's on the ice can stick to the stones
and it stays there.
Yeah. So when you start, you can just use grippers and a step-on kind of slider. It's a Teflon sheet that allows you to slide. Curlers that curl more frequently have curling shoes, which basically have the slider built into the bottom of one of the shoes. And so basically you're pushing out of the hack with one foot, you're sliding on the other foot. And then you've got your broom. And so the broom, I like to think of the shaft of the broom kind of in the same vein as kind of like your modern age hockey sticks. They're light materials, a lot of like composite materials. They're very sturdy, but they're very light. And then the broom head itself is generally kind of a piece of foam, or foam rubber, with kind of a firm plastic backing to it. And then it's covered with a piece of fabric, and that fabric has a certain texture to it that allows it to create that friction on the ice to affect the stone.
How often do you replace the head of the broom?
Good question. Varies a lot. I mean, it depends on how often you play. It depends on how hard you sweep. It
okay.
On, some people just if they're recreational curlers, they're not playing in very serious games. Maybe they let it go a little bit longer. I mean, the professionals, the Olympic level curlers, they might replace it every game. So it really varies depending on who you are.
That's interesting. So it can't be replaced, like, like the professional curlers, they can replace that a lot.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
And there's been so much technology advances in the curling broom in the last 5 years, and a lot of the top level players, like Howard said, only use it for a game. So then they're passing down their old broom heads, to keep it, the shaft of the broom they can keep, and passing down the broom head to junior curlers, or club level or rentals or that type of stuff. And then they're also coming up with ways just to replace the fabric on the pad, because that's what's breaking down, is the fibers on that brush head as they sweep the ice.
Mhm.
It's losing that extra friction that they need to get it within that 1/8 of a centimeter or a centimeter, however close they hit the game. Like a curling friend of mine from Detroit once said, my friend Chad once said, in football, it's a game of inches. We wish we had inches.
Absolutely. And you think about these Olympic level curlers. I mean, these are great athletes.
They've been doing it for years.
They've been doing it for years. A lot of them are bigger than you realize until you get up close. I mean, a lot of you look at some of the Olympic curlers from this last time around. These are very large.
Oh, they're jacked, and
they're very strong. And when they're sweeping, they are putting all of their body weight onto that broom to create, and going back and forth as fast as they can to create as much friction as possible. That's going to wear down that fabric really quickly. And you're going to go from a fabric, when you first put it on the broom, that has a pretty good texture to it. It's a little scratchy. You could smooth the whole thing out, over the course of a game, in their case, or a couple of games. And so you want to make sure, especially at that level where the games have that much significance, you want to have fresh fabric on there as frequently as you can, so that you can make sure that your sweeping is as effective as you need it to be.
That's awesome. That's something that, like, I didn't know, right? I mean, I just thought it was, this is my pure ignorance talking here, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a plain, just foam. And then obviously I thought at some point you would replace that, but I didn't know there was an actual fabric that wrapped around that part that you sweep.
Yeah. I mean, you can almost think about it like taping the blade of a hockey stick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they might do it every period, but that tape, the way that you tape it, the way that you wax it and set it up, that's going to give you all of the grip that you need to control the puck the way that you need to. And as soon as you start, getting it wet, as soon as it starts getting cut up by the puck and skates, you're not going to have the same kind of control. You're not going to get what you want out of it, and so you're going to have to retape it. Kind of a similar idea with the fabric on a curling broom.
Interesting. Anything else you want to add, Sue?
I think we're getting it all covered. It's just like any sport, when you can have your fancy shoes and your fancy brooms, but you could get beat by somebody who's wearing blue jeans and street shoes that they've put rubber grippers over them and gone up there, and you get beat by the junior curlers, or you get beat by somebody in their 80s. Anything can happen in the game. It makes it enjoyable, and that addiction of coming back and wanting to get better and play again. And saying with analogy with golf too, afterwards we sit around and we have a drink with each other.
I like that.
Yeah.
Two teams sit around and converse and have a good time and talk about their game, maybe not talk about their game.
I don't want to talk about it. It's over.
Yeah. We have great conversations about curling. Everybody, and a lot of them are, where have you traveled to? What other sports have you played? How did you get into curling? Just typical conversation.
And I think that's a big part of the game too, right? It's the spirit of curling. That's one of the things that drew me into the game. It's Sue mentioned it before in terms of calling your own fouls. But there's so much to that. It's calling your own fouls. It's, you're not rooting against the other team to miss their shots. You're not trying to, you're quiet. and trying to stay out of the way while they're making their shots, so that you're not disrupting them. You're respectful, use the honor code if there is a foul and you need to take a stone out of play. To Sue's point, you after the game, part of this whole sport is broom stacking, where you sit down at a table with the team you just played. And the common etiquette would be that the team that just won, buys a drink for the team that just lost, and you sit around the table, you talk, you have some fun, you socialize. And it's a really great way to meet people. It's a really great way to kind of unwind after a game. And something when I started a couple of years ago, I really appreciated about it, because it really gave you an opportunity to get to know people, and really, have it be more than just, competing for 2 hours.
A couple of points that I want to touch on is the self-reporting fouls, because that's something that I didn't know about, right? That was so related to golf that I didn't even know there was that many fouls to report in the first place.
So you want to talk about some of the things that people have to self-report?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to hear some of the stuff.
So if you deliver your stone.
Yeah.
And your sweepers are sweeping it.
Yep.
It's in the middle section of the ice. And one of the sweepers accidentally hits that rock.
Mm-hmm.
With they have a tissue fall out of their pocket. They hit it with their broom.
Yep.
They have their chapstick falls out of their pocket. Whatever happens, and it touches the rock. That rock, you need to report that you have burnt that stone. So
Burnt the stone.
Burnt the stone. And so at the middle section of the ice, that stone would then be removed from play. Howard spoke earlier about the hog line, where when the stone is now in play, that stone is a keeper. It's made it across the hog line. It's a keeper. It's going to affect other stones.
Okay.
And you accidentally burn it, or maybe some people might have been intentionally burning it. Now you have to raise your hand and say, I burnt it. And the opposing skip gets to decide if that rock is removed from play. So let's say somebody had a crap shot and they burnt it. Maybe it wasn't purely accidental.
Yeah.
But it's going to be because sometimes your enemy's stones are your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the opposing skip would be like, no, I want to keep that rock.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to stay there.
Or else I always, especially if it's the first end of the game and we're going to play for 8 ends and somebody accidentally burns it and they're a new curler, I'll say, just let it be. Because the curling karma will get you.
Yeah.
Well, and the other common place where you'll see kind of a burned rock is once you get down into the stone gets into play on the other side. You might be throwing a shot with a lot of speed that's going to hit some other rocks, and they're going to kind of carry them all over the place, or the sweepers are trying to sweep it into the house and they're trying to navigate their way through stones that are already in play. You may accidentally kick a stone. You may have a stone that ricochets off another one and hits your foot on the way. That also counts as burning it. You have to, report that and kind of raise your hand, and the opposing skip has to decide
whether or not
what to do at that point. And you'll see that occasionally, even at the highest levels. I mean, there have been, team USA's in games in the last couple of years where, a stone gets, kicked accidentally or hits a foot on the way out. And they'll raise their hand, and the opposing skip has to decide what to do.
Interesting. That's awesome. And it gives, I love that the opposing, skip has to decide, because then it gives them the power to, it's like, no, I want to keep it there, because strategically it makes better sense for them to keep it there.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love that. See, I'm already in love with the sport. I want to try this, guys.
You're not far. We're going to have you down.
I know I'm very close. I've already, Google mapped it and everything. Don't you worry. So, okay. So my other question was, obviously you guys got different committees, right? You're in marketing committee, merchandise, and then Sue, you said you're also in diversity committee, correct?
Correct.
So, tell me a little bit about those committees, because I like the fact that you guys are trying to attract more people into the sport here within North Carolina.
Yeah, so I mean, historically, the game, was very popular in Canada, very popular in the upper Midwest, and we're in Durham, and we would like our membership as we grow to more model what the population of Durham is. We don't, we need to keep our membership young and healthy, and we need to have diversity all across the board. We have some diversity. We have members who have gone. There's some LGBTQ bonspiel tournaments. A bonspiel is a tournament in curling speak.
Gotcha.
So there's one of those. There's one in DC and one in Chicago and one in Seattle, and our club members have been very supportive of that. So we're definitely welcoming and a comfortable space for people to come into. We definitely would like to see a wider variety
I love
of
it.
our racial makeup, and different countries as well. And we had World Curling, they just had a championship this fall in Nigeria, India, Mexico.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely growing, and you're seeing it not just be, people that look like myself and Howard out there curling.
Well,
This is-
and I think the other important point to note, you asked about the committees. We're 100% volunteer run organization. So, we have our own facility. We have over, I think, 300 members right now. At any given point, and we're 100% volunteer run, and that's everything from maintaining the ice to basic operations around the club to finance, marketing, league coordination, bartending. And so it's really a huge undertaking.
yeah.
Yeah, just you can imagine you have 300 people. Now you have to decide what type of beer are we going to sell.
That-
It's a big decision. And
that's an important decision. Okay. That is
Yeah.
very important.
I mean, you have people investing a lot of time, and I mean, ice maintenance is a time consuming task. Doing basic operations around the facility
Yeah.
is a big task. There's a lot of equipment involved in maintaining ice. Coordinating leagues for 300 plus members. Running corporate rentals and group rentals, which is a big revenue driver for the club and a big opportunity for us to get people into the club to try the sport. All of this takes a lot of volunteer hours, and so that to me is also one of the coolest things about what we do is we're able to do all of this with everybody just donating their time, which is a valuable commodity.
Yeah, I think that as you grow, right, there's more people that are going to come, and diversity will grow. So which is great. A couple more questions here, guys, and then I'll jump into my famous, not so famous questions here. But I want to talk about some of the things that I saw here, because I'm on your site right now as we're talking. I'm on your site. What is this? Tell me more about Pickup and Pizza. What is this? Tell me.
So as Howard was talking about playing ice hockey, I played a lot of ball hockey growing up and
Yeah.
volleyball and different sports. And we don't have that in curling, or we haven't had that in curling. So you come out to Learn to Curl and everyone asks, what are the next steps? Or
Yep.
people come out with their work group and they do a rental. Oh, my wife would like this, or I want to bring my neighbors. They've always wanted to do this. What are the next steps? Well, I wanted to have something where we could answer that question. We haven't since 2010 Olympics, we haven't had an issue in this area with getting people interested and out to see us. It's that getting the person to come in the second time, getting them to come in the third time, where you, with any business, you start to see a lesser return. So with Pickup and Pizza, it's very similar to a Learn to Curl, but people can do it who have done a Learn to Curl or have done a rental, or they have never been on the ice.
Mhm.
So we start with pizza, we go over basics and safety and have a beer, then get out on the ice. Real quick instruction, as quick as people can get that rock going down the ice and get it in place safely. do a little bit of sweeping, then we play a 3 to 4 end game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and we offer those twice a month, and they've been extremely successful. And sort of, it's not like a straight up pickup like you would have in hockey or other games where you just show up and you make sure you have 2 goalies and you play. You know, you have a bit more with curling where you want that 4 against 4.
Yeah.
And it's been a
And
great
so
program that Stu's put together. I mean, even for existing members, you know, like we have family, we have friends that haven't tried it that we want them to come out and try the game. You know, I mean, I've brought most of my family through pickup and pizza games to give them a chance to go out on the ice and give it a try.
Yeah.
But it's a really great way to get people back in the door that second time, because it's a big jump from a learn to curl to committing to a league. And so to give them that second opportunity to try it or to bring their friends to try it is huge.
I love that. Okay. Last question before I go into my famous, not so famous questions. All right. So let's say that I'm interested in signing up, and obviously I need to go through the process of, you know, learning the sport. How do you guys set that up?
Yeah. So Sue, go ahead.
I was going to say our Learn to Curls for January have just opened up for registration.
Mhm.
So if you go on our website, I think it's under Try Curling, that you can see the registration for that. And then we'll tell you the basics of what to wear. What I like to say is show up wearing winter running gear or cold yoga gear.
I'm okay with that.
You want something that can stretch because you're going to get into a lunge position.
So I need yoga pants, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, joggers of some sort that we say no to crack. Duluth Trading Company long tail shirts are good. Yes.
Yep.
This is great. I love it. Love it.
And layers. It's interesting. I say we have the Triangle's largest walk-in cooler, so you're going to be on the ice, and it's cold, but there's no wind, there's no rain, and
it's just cold.
And you're moving. You're physically active, so you warm up.
I get down to a t-shirt within 15 minutes most games.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I start in a t-shirt most games because I know I'm going to get there.
Yeah, you're going to get already warmed up by the time you start.
And then once you come to one of the Learn to Curls, there's a lot of different paths you can take. You can go to Pickup and Pizza a couple of times. We have a great Saturday instructional league. So it's 8 Saturday mornings, both in the fall and the spring. And it's kind of a progressive course that teaches you all of the, you know, the basics of strategy, the basics of your, you know, the sliding delivery, sweeping, playing the different positions. And as you progress through those 8 weeks, you do, you know, a lot of instruction, then you do some games, and it really gets you ready to go. You can also just jump straight into a league. You become a member, you can play, you know, 1 night a week. Full membership means you can play in 2 leagues. You can sign up for additional ones if you want. So there's really a lot of different ways you can kind of go from a Learn to Curl, you know, where you just, you know, if you were to sign up for one in January and kind of try out the sport, there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can then progress from that into curling on a more regular basis.
I like it. This is amazing, guys. I really do appreciate you guys coming on. So, because I really am thinking about, you know, coming in and learning, because
we'd love to have you.
You'll have me. Trust me. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay.
I want to say one more thing.
Sure, go for it.
So we have our Learn to Curls January 9th through the 12th. And then the week after that, we'll have some pickups. But on January 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we have our junior U21 playdowns. So it's a national event. So juniors from all over the country can sign up. And if they win the tournament, then they qualify for nationals. So it's under 21 qualifier for nationals.
That's awesome. And it's right here in North Carolina, in Durham.
Correct.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I do think also kind of with that, it's also worth note, you know, trianglecurling.com, you can get all the information. We are in Research Triangle Park in Durham at 2310 Sohai Drive. So yeah, we're right in town if anybody wants to come check it out.
Oh, I'm going to put all this information. Don't you worry.
Yep, and
All
our,
right.
our juniors are on Sunday afternoons, so there's also a great program. Um, 8 to 21 is really a good age range for the juniors.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like it. All right. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay. So let's say that you guys go to any event, like let's say a hockey game, baseball game. What is your drink and food of choice when you go to a game?
So I'm a big craft beer guy, so I'm always gonna be having some sort of craft beer. Style depends on the weather and where I'm at. If I'm at a baseball game, I'm definitely doing peanuts and making a mess with the shells.
Of course. That's the only way.
So that's probably my go-to. Sue?
What about you, Sue?
I feel like I should go to Wrigley and drink the bases, have an Italian beef,
Hey, there
then
you
go
go.
into the game, have an old style and a Chicago dog.
Love that.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking. I got another one here for you guys. Hot dog. Do you put ketchup or mustard, or mustard only, ketchup only? What's your, because this is a very, very contested question and discussion here.
Nope, there is no discussion.
Okay.
If you're over 12, there is no ketchup on your hot.
I strongly disagree.
I'm with Howard here.
I'll either do ketchup or ketchup and mustard. I won't do mustard only.
See, I'm a ketchup and mustard.
But I do love a fully dressed Chicago dog, and especially having one sitting outside of the summer in Wrigley. That's pretty great.
That is pretty good. But yeah, I'm from Cleveland, so we got to have our Bertman's, spicy mustard with some ketchup. That's the way it has to be.
Mustard and onions.
There you go.
I'll take onions too, though. Don't get me wrong. Okay. If you guys can work at a zoo, okay, which animal would you work with? I know it's a good one, right? I mean, you got to pick an animal, though. I'll start with Sue. How's that, Sue? Give me an animal.
I think I'm going like a beluga whale or something. I'm going.
Wow. I like it.
Yep. Manitoba roots. I'm going with the beluga whale.
Okay.
I think I'm going on something like giraffes, something that seems kind of friendly, something that's not going to eat me.
It's not going to want to eat you.
Yeah.
Definitely not picking a lion or a tiger.
No. I've seen too many of those articles about bad accidents at a zoo. I'll go with something safe.
I like it.
Okay. I was going with an animal that wouldn't urinate on me. I'm staying away from the elephant.
I'll take an animal urinating on me over eating me. I just want to put that out there.
That's fair. Beluga whales are friendly. That's.
I like it. That's pretty cool. All right, here goes another one. What was your favorite cereal growing up as a kid?
Cocoa Puffs.
Wow, Cocoa Puffs. I haven't had Cocoa Puffs in a while. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while.
I can't remember.
Got her stumped.
No, we didn't have, we didn't, we ate toast for breakfast. So
Toast is not bad though. I still eat toast to this day.
Yeah. We didn't have milk in the house. So that wasn't really it.
Now we know that curling is not the most boring sport because obviously it's very intense and you got to pay attention. But in your opinion, which sport is the most boring sport?
Oh, I hate cornhole.
But it's a good sport doing, barbecues and everything. Good beer.
For 2 to 4 people, but not for everybody else.
That's true. Yeah, the people that are playing, yes. The people that are watching, not so much.
Yeah.
I got you. You're more of a let's include everybody kind of situation.
Exactly.
I like it. All right, Howard, how about you?
So if we're going with major sports and from a spectator standpoint, I'd have to go with golf. I love playing golf. I don't think golf translates well to TV, and I think it's a little involved kind of getting out on the course and having like follow golfers around all day just to see them take one swing.
Yeah.
So I think golf is probably the most boring to watch, although I love playing it.
I suck at golf. I've played it. I can't watch it. It's my nap time. That's what I'll say. That's for me.
It is great for that because it's very calm. It's not a lot of loud noise.
And they're like, and he's ready for the, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it just gets you ready for bed. Guys, thank you so much for doing this. I had a lot of fun. You guys are going to see me there. I'm going to go in there, and then at the very least, I'm going to try to get to the curling and pizza, because that sounds like a lot of fun and a great way to meet people here in town. But where can people find you guys on those socials and on the internet?
Everything's Triangle Curling. So trianglecurling.com. We're active on Instagram and some on Facebook. We haven't done the TikTok thing. I haven't succumbed to that, but
Neither have I, to be honest with you.
yeah. So mostly active on Instagram, and then also our website, trianglecurling.com. And
Perfect.
our YouTube page, we stream
Yes.
all of our events.
Yep. You can watch any of our league nights, any of our big events on YouTube, and for Instagram, it's at Triangle Curling.
Perfect.
So yeah, really easy to find us.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. I appreciate it. And then we'll try to get some more people out there to try curling.
We'll see you at the club.
Later, guys.
See ya.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode with Sue and Howard. They were a lot of fun, and obviously learning more about the sport is great. I think the sport of curling is one, very fan friendly. Two, the simplicity of it makes it so much more accessible to people like myself. So make sure you guys, if you guys have access to any curling clubs out in your area, make sure you guys go out there and give it a try. I know I will. Again, I want to thank them for coming on, and then make sure you guys are following them on all the socials. Last but not least, I want to thank you guys, the fans, for coming on and supporting the podcast. I know you guys have a lot of options out there, so I want to thank you for that. Make sure you guys are following me on social media, as well as make sure you guys are giving the thumbs up or 5 stars on wherever you listen to the podcast. And now, without further ado, here is the joke of the episode. Who do Olympic curlers call for breakfast while on vacation? Broom service. All right, I see myself out. And until then, keep on grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Ed Rivera of the Dad Hat Chronicles. Join me as I interview people just like you and players, coaches, GMs on the path that led you to become a fan of the sport.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean. And I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTommaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series, and in every episode I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
This is Patrick and Corey of BaseballMapper.com, and we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball, so get on the site and find a team near you today.
Learn more about Curved Brim Media at curvedbrimmedia.com.